I'm here at the Super Pit where the 2023 NIT champions get ready to tip off, and there's plenty for fans to be excited for tonight as it's a game full of firsts. And I've got Jake Levine, a fan engagement intern for the Mean Green Maniacs, here with me tonight. How we doing, Jake?
I'm doing good, Drew. How are you?
I'm doing great. And Jake, tell me a little bit about what this game means for Mean Green fans.
Yeah, this is a huge game. You know, we're coming off a championship. We got Northern Iowa in the house. They're a great program, great team, and it's gonna be a tough win. And if we start 1-0, that's a lot better than 0-1. I'll tell you what.
Well, the house is already getting packed here tonight, and what can fans be excited for from you guys? How are we going to get them pepped?
Yeah, you know, we light this arena up. We are the life of this program, and I take a lot of pride in it because we work really hard to make sure everyone has a great time, and we just make sure everyone comes in here pumped up and everyone's having a good time, just like that.
Well, a game full of firsts, like I said. First game for head coach Ross Hodge, former assistant coach. What are we looking for from Coach Hodge's first game tonight?
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty similar to Grant McCaslin. You know, he worked under him, but hopefully he'll play a little faster so it's a little more appealing to the eye.
Thank you for being with us, Jake, and go Mean Green!
Go Mean Green!
Well, let's get the tough part out of the way first. Last night, the Cowboys lost in heartbreaking fashion to none other than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys were trading punches with the Eagles for a majority of the game, and the Cowboys never seemed to pull away. But just as you thought he was done, there came the Dak attack, throwing a touchdown to CeeDee Lamb late in the game. Coach McCarthy made the call to go for two, and Dak was literally inches away from converting. Dak's missed opportunity was ultimately the dagger, and the Cowboys fell 23-28. But America's team will face the New York Giants next Sunday at 3:25 p.m. Central. Moving somewhere new can be difficult, especially when home seems worlds away. Meet this student athlete who's journeyed thousands of miles to further her athletic career and make her mark on the court. Most American athletes take the same approach to reach the professional level: high school, college, selection draft, and finally a pro career. In other countries, however, some athletes jump right into preparing for the professional level at a young age. Texas Women's University's Duda Dutra began that journey at just 13 years old.
When I was 13, I moved to Belo Horizonte, which is like the main city of Minas Gerais. So I moved to Belo Horizonte to play volleyball, and my parents came with me when I moved, and now they live there.
Moving to a different city is one thing, but moving to a different country is a whole nother experience.
So I think the major difference for me is that I can study here, and studying here is a priority, while in Brazil it wasn't. While here is like, we want you to be a good player, and I mean, of course we want you to play pro if you want to, but like the academics come with it.
For most college students, home is just a few hours away, whether that's by car or by plane. But for Duda, it's a little more complicated than that, and it feels like she's worlds apart from her family and her home.
I was missing home like a lot. I was totally homesick. But at the same time, it's a good thing because you're growing, right? You're getting mature, you're trying to develop new skills, and I mean, you're becoming a new person.
NTTV News, I'm Drew Mowrer. It's so heartwarming to see how Duda has paved her way as a rising star right here in our backyard. Bowling lanes around the country are packed with families every day, but one sticks out among the rest. Chris Barnes and his family are bowling icons, but their story goes much deeper than the sport they love. These AMF bowling lanes have been Chris's home alley for a majority of his career. But for Chris, it goes beyond just these lanes. Chris's son Troy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at just 6 years old. But for the Barnes family, it was an obstacle they could overcome.
It was pretty wild when we actually found out about Troy. We were actually at Disney World, and at the end he was so tired and he was having to go to the restroom all the time. That's when we found out, and our world kind of turned upside down, and we became expert label readers, among other things.
15 years later, Troy has made the journey to college. Being on his own, however, has presented a new challenge.
It's the first time in my life I'm on my own. If anything happens, it's up to me to figure it out. So obviously that pressure is nerve-wracking at times.
You know, you just feel so helpless. You know, we can't really change it. We can help him along, but we can't even, you know, once you get to a certain age, you have to take on all that burden, and you live with it every day.
Chris and his family have helped, though, using their platform to create a fundraiser in support of those dealing with type 1 diabetes.
You know, it was a way for us to be able to raise some money and feel better about it, you know, contributing towards hopefully a cure.
Seeing the amount of work that, my mom and dad both put into it, being there at the event and seeing how many people showed up and how much money was raised, and just the outreach was incredible.
Troy has now picked up and gotten the bug a little bit, bowling down at SFA, and he started to bowl as a 298 game, a 299 game, and I think it won't be long before he shoots 300.
In TTV News, I'm Drew Mowrer. Yeah, I think something I noticed was the Badgers bench went a combined 1 for 10 in the entire game. Mm-hmm. The entire bench went 1 for 10. That's horrible. That is just.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I also feel like going back to what you said about, why did UNT go cold for long periods of time? Sometimes I feel like the other team switches up their defense, and UNT gets confused.
Yeah.
I almost feel like the Mean Green, they get a little out of rhythm, but then they get back into rhythm, and I think that's kind of what happened against Wisconsin was at the beginning of the second half, or excuse me, at the end of the first half, they started to get off. They got off a little bit because the defense was switching up.
Right.
And then in the second half, they kind of, like you said, the backbone of their defense, but they also, I think, started to adapt to Wisconsin's defense.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of something that I've noticed from UNT is that they've struggled with, is really
Right.
adapting to defenses, and the other team will double Tyler Perry, and then he has nowhere to go. He gets trapped on the outside by the baseline. Like there's just times where you look and you see Perry or Huntsberry, whoever's bringing up the ball, it almost seems like they're getting overcrowded by the defense, and they don't know what to do in the situation. So I think, like you said, having that backbone of defense kind of
Right.
eliminated
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
I think something to testament as well is Perry had 5 steals, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perry and Huntsberry combined for 41 total.
Mm-hmm.
Great performance from our guard combo, but
Right.
he had 5 steals. 5.
Yeah.
Against one of the better players, arguably, statistically in D1 basketball. So
Right.
I think there's a testament to the defense and the scrappiness, not even just from our defensive stalwarts like Aaron Scott, who I feel like had an excellent game defensively,
Right.
but even from guys like Tyler Perry getting 5 steals, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think so right off the bat. I mean, the fact that he's been here, he's been around, he knows exactly what to do when he steps in. I don't really think we're going to miss too much of a beat, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, McCaslin is amazing, right?
Right.
And we're really going to miss him, but how much are we really going to miss, right? Because Hodge is stepping in, and Hodge has been his right-hand man for, like you said, 2017, almost 6 seasons now, right?
Yeah.
So he's been there, he's done that, so now he just is going to step in with this new team. He knows exactly what to do. In the AAC, we look at them basketball-wise, they're not quite as strong as they are football-wise.
Right.
I don't really think, besides maybe the Shockers, Wichita State Shockers, I don't really think there's a whole lot of competition. Memphis Tigers,
Memphis, yep.
Temple has been decent this
Temple's
season.
been solid.
There's a lot of teams moving to the Big 12, such as Houston, UCF, Cincinnati,
Yeah.
that we're not going to have to play.
Right.
We may be able to be really successful in this conference because look at CUSA. I mean, a couple of these
The
teams
triple
are moving,
crowning
but
Yeah.
I mean, CUSA might be tougher than AAC.
Yeah.